My name is Sarah Ramsey, and I'm a tax accountant at Williams Keepers, LLC. The federal child tax credit for 2021 was increased to $3,600 for every child under 5 or $3,000 for children between 6 to 17. This is set to expire at the end of 2021. However, it could be extended by Congress for 2022 or future years. To receive the credit, it must be any child under 17, U.S. citizen or resident alien, and lived with the taxpayer for more than 6 months. The child must not also provide more than half their own support. There's no minimum income requirement to receive the credit this year, but the credit may be phased out for higher incomes, and it's canceled entirely if your income is over $400,000 for married filing joint and $200,000 for all others. For 2021, the credit's also fully refundable. This means you can receive the maximum benefit even if you don't have income or owe any federal tax. So the way this credit's worked this year is, starting in July, many taxpayers have received 50% of their anticipated child tax credit in the form of monthly installments. That's $250 for a child between 6 to 17 and $300 for others. This will leave a credit of $1,500 to $1,800 to claim when you file your tax return next year. So taxpayers may opt out of these advance payments or update their information through the Child Tax Portal on the IRS website. This would allow you to remove or add qualifying children that may or may not be eligible for your tax year. So at the end of the day, most families are going to receive 1/2 of their tax credit through the advance payments. If you receive too little, you'll be due an additional amount on your tax return. And in the unlikely event that you receive too much, you might have to pay back the excess on your income, depending on your income level. The federal adoption credit. Taxpayers adopting an eligible or special needs child may be able to take an adoption tax credit or exclude an employer-provided benefit from income. If you take both a credit or income exclusion, the only rule is you can't use the same expenses for both. The credit is $14,300 for a special needs child, or up to $14,300 per child based on actual qualifying expenses for all other adoptions. The credit is non-refundable and can only reduce your federal tax liability to zero. Any portion that's unused may be carried forward for 5 years. To qualify, the child must be a citizen resident of the U.S. and under the age of 18 when the expenses occurred, or a special needs child incapable of caring for themselves. The credit will start to phase out for AGIs over $214,000. For domestic adoptions, the credit for expenses is eligible in the year your adoption's final, or is allowed in the year following payment even if your adoption is never finalized. If a person has qualifying adoption expenses, for example in 2022, but the adoption was not finalized, the adoption credit may then be claimed on their 2023 tax return. Missouri adoption credit, effective 2022, so this can be claimed on your 2022 tax return that you'll file before April 15th of 2023. The state is offering you an adoption credit of up to $10,000. Prior to this year, this credit was available for special needs children only, but now it's expanded to all other adoptions. The credit is non-refundable, so it's limited to your state tax liability, but any unused portion of that credit can be carried forward for 5 years. Credit must be claimed by April 15th of any tax year. You cannot extend your tax return and claim it later in October. Different from the federal credit, business entities that provide funds to employees for the purpose of adopting shall also be eligible for a $10,000 credit per child. Adoption costs towards calculating your state credit should be reduced by any non-recurring expenses paid or reimbursed by state or local agencies, and the amount of any of your federal adoption credit that you received. Individuals can begin claiming 50% of the credit in the year a child's placed in the home and 50% once your adoption is filed. Missouri Child Tax Credit for Foster Parents. Effective 2022, foster parents will be eligible for a state credit of up to $5,000 for married filing joint or $2,500 for single tax filers. The credit will cover actual expenses incurred in providing foster care to one or more child up to the maximum. Foster parents need to have provided care for a child for at least 6 months for the full credit. The law indicates foster parents will be able to receive a prorated credit for children placed in homes less than 6 months. To be determined, the Department of Revenue and Division of Social Services are going to implement a procedure to verify taxpayers claiming the credit are foster parents. And the law at this time does not provide a solid definition of qualifying expenses, but we assume to be written as any cost incurred that's not reimbursed or paid by a local agency. For more information, you can research each tax credit on the IRS website or the Missouri Department of Revenue.